Everybody is worried about NXT moving to the USA Network, and rightfully so. Well, today, it's being reported that NXT might be adding a sixth takeover to the NXT pay-per-view calendar in 2020. I will go into detail, simply stating that this is not a good idea. Also, Aleister Black finally sits down and explains his main roster character and what it legitimately means. The King of the Ring tournament is underway, but who is going to be coronated as the 2019 King of the Ring? The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, is legitimately the best thing on WWE television, but is WWE set to tone down The Fiend because it might be deemed too extreme for the mainstream audience? And Vince McMahon dealing with the XFL. Does this finally mean Vince McMahon is stepping back from WWE Creative? Don't make me laugh, but I will give you the news and rumors right here on episode 288 of Off the Script.
Delete! This is mine.
Man, I don't want to sit here and tell you that this is going to be a bizarre, weird podcast, but normally I go into these things and I'm a little bit more prepared, I'm a little bit more organized, but this Friday, I waited as long as I could because the biggest story going into the week, and it's continued on into the week, was NXT moving to the USA Network. Now, I don't want to talk about it anymore. I really don't. I went over it on Monday in a video, specifically aimed towards that. Literally, every topic in the video for an hour had to do with NXT moving to the USA Network and why I think there's more negative than positive. Then again, on Wednesday, all the remnants of that report, everything that came in the aftermath of that report, I actually talked about on Wednesday's show while covering the NXT TV program. And again, I didn't really want to do that, but there's no avoiding it. I'm not going to do that here on Friday. There's legitimately no news, and I find that to be very odd. It's like WWE is waiting. They're in this, I guess, comatose state right now. There's legitimately no news coming out of the WWE, unless you're Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins, who apparently got engaged over the weekend, this weekend, I guess. And all I have to say is congratulations. I have no ill will towards Mr. Colby Lopez or Rebecca Quinn. And I know I am not everybody's cup of coffee. And I know I can be hard on specific characters in WWE in the direction of certain storylines in WWE. But I am genuinely happy for both of them, and that's legitimately the only news coming out of WWE this weekend that has anything of importance outside of the NXT stuff. And I'm not going to sit here and talk about Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch getting engaged. I'm not TMZ, nor do I care. Good for them. I hope that they're happy. I'm here to report about pro wrestling, and I don't have anything. So whatever I gathered, I am going to just spitball at you. There's no organization here. There's no format. I'm just going to spit what I got at you, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. So there's my little open spoken word for the podcast, man. It's been a dead week, and I'm going to be in Chicago starting Wednesday. I hope to see some of you out there. I'll be at StarCast. I'll be at AEW's All Out with Ticket Drew. I'll be walking around 3 days at StarCast with Ticket Drew. Come up and call me a fucking goon. Go ahead, please. Or an asshole if you hate me. And if you're a hater, please come up to me and tell me why you hate me, man. Seriously, I would love it. I would love it, because I'm going to have my entourage there, and then we can all look at you like you're a blithering idiot, and then I'll just proceed to go buy myself a cold beverage and go about my day. So I hope to see you guys there, man. but we're going to go over everything I got. We're going to do it the best that we can right here on episode 288 of the podcast. Thank you guys so much for joining me right here on Off the Script. If you guys missed anything that I have previously uploaded, that includes Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and the big news about NXT moving to the USA Network, everything you need is going to be linked for easy access. I make it easy for you guys, so there's no excuses as to why you did not go and show your support on these videos, man. Links for everything will be down below in the comment section, and I'm going to pin it at the very top. Make sure you guys follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That is on Twitter and Instagram. Please do so. We are nearing 28,000 followers on Twitter, and we are nearing 8,000 followers on the IG. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. It's completely optional, but it's a great way to show your appreciation for the podcast, man. So thank you guys so very much for all your support on the Patreon page. I appreciate every single one of you, and it means the world to me that you go out of your way and show support for Off the Script and everything that I do here on the podcast. Make sure you guys check out my main sponsor, man. They are good friends of the podcast, and you guys know them as Harry's. Harry's.com/scripts. What you guys are going to do is the following. You're going to use our unique link, and then you're going to get yourself a $13 value trial set. And I tell you, man, I don't need to shave right now, but when I do, I use Harry's. And if you want to look the best that you possibly can, you're going to use Harry's.com/script. I am one of 10 million people who have used Harry's, and I even claimed my own special offer by going to Harry's.com/script. Now, Harry's founders were two regular guys tired of getting ripped off and paying for overpriced gimmicks, vibrating heads, these flex balls, handles that look like a cheap prop in a cheesy sci-fi movie. These are just some of the tactics that leading brands have used to overcharge us for years. Harry's makes quality, durable blades at a fair price. Guys, it's just $2 per blade. That is cheaper than a 16-ounce bottle of Coke or Pepsi. It's so great, man. That's the one thing I love about Harry's, is that it is absolutely quality at fair prices. To keep prices low, they cut out the middleman. Harry's actually bought a world-class blade factory in Germany that's been making some of the best razors in the world for 99 years. Now they can provide you great quality at factory direct prices. 100% quality guarantee. If you don't love your shave, let them know and they will give you a full refund. JD, this sounds great. What am I going to get? Well, you're going to get a razor handle with an easy grip. Choice of color is up to you, man. Orange, navy blue, or the evergreen. 5-blade razor with a lubricating strip and a trimmer blade for a close, comfortable shave. Rich lathering shave gel that will leave you smelling great, and it feels great on your skin once applied. And a travel blade cover to keep your razor dry and easy on the go. If you're a man or woman of business, you guys can actually take this on the go. It's going to keep your razor safe. Or if you're like me, I like to make a nice presentation in the bathroom on the sink with my Harry's products all lined up, man. And the travel blade cover goes great and it looks great while my blade is on display. Listeners of my show can redeem their trial set by going to Harry's.com/script. Make sure you go to Harry's.com/script to redeem your offer and let them know that JD from NY sent you to help support Off the Script. Just a few things of note, guys. I woke up this morning on Friday, and I woke up to everyone praising. And I can't wait to see it for myself because I know it's going to be as good as everybody has already stated it was. I woke up this morning to so many comments on the Will Ospreay and Amazing Red match. Now, I don't know if anybody listening to me was legitimately there, but I seen some clips on Twitter and I seen some clips on Instagram. I am very excited to see this match, and me having the fortunate circumstance and the absolute pleasure of calling Amazing Red matches in House of Glory for the last 2 years, and seeing how good he still is, you know? He's still young, and he can still go. Obviously, with everybody talking about the match, clearly they are in the same boat I am. I can't wait to watch this match, not only because Red is so involved with House of Glory and everything that comes out of House of Glory, But I remember he was in a main event match as our world champion, and I think it was against either Zack Sabre Jr. or Michael Elgin. And I remember after the show, I went to go say goodbye to him because I was about to head home. I shook his hand, and I looked him in the face. I'm like, man, every time I see you in the ring, and every time you've defended this House of Glory championship, I honestly think that you get better and better each and every time we do these events. And I honestly look at you and I think you are at your absolute best now than at any other point in your career. And it made me feel so good to tell him that because he is so fucking good at what he does. And I honestly can't wait to watch this match because he deserves it. And from what I know and just being in House of Glory and him stepping away to do this for himself and wanting this. You know, he has his own hit list of people who he wants. Will Ospreay was one of those people. And the fact that he got this match and he went out there and showed the world that he is still the amazing fucking Red is a beautiful thing to see, man. I can't wait to watch this match and see how good it really was and dissect it here on the podcast. So I'm absolutely 100% watching it when it's available. Apparently, if you weren't there in Seattle to watch this match, then you did not see it. And you won't see it till September. So I just want to let you guys know that's coming. And I'm already hearing amazing things about it. Brian Alvarez stated on The Observer, I listened to it this morning. He said that was probably one of the best, if not the best, live matches that he has ever seen personally live at a wrestling event. That is high praise. That is unbelievable. So I can't wait to see what these two guys did in the Super J Cup tournament. And I can't wait to see what Amazing Red does from here. Switching it completely from wrestling to music. A couple of things of note here for music, because you guys know I'm a big music guy. I should just start a fucking music podcast, to be honest with you. Quickly, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Alter Bridge has a new song, Take the Crown, and I love it. If you guys need an official, or I should say unofficial theme for the King of the Ring, man, that is absolutely perfect, and that is a dirty fucking riff in the opening of that song, man. Tremonti and Miles just kill it. The pre-chorus going into the chorus is absolutely fantastic. Easily the best of the three songs that Alter Bridge have released so far for the new album, Walk the Sky. Can't wait. October 18th. October shaping up to be a big month for a lot of different reasons, and Alter Bridge is definitely a part of that. I will be seeing them on the 24th in New York City. And I can't wait to see them because I got VIP tickets. I'm going to be meeting Miles. I'm going to be meeting Mark Tremonti. I'm going to be getting a sound check private with a bunch of other people who purchased VIP tickets. And I'm going to get a signed poster and a picture. So you guys will be seeing that on my Instagram and my Twitter, man. I can't fucking wait. And I know I'm going to be emotional that night because they always play Blackbird. And Blackbird is associated with my grandpa. And every single time, I've seen them about 6 times live. Never, ever will miss an Alter Bridge concert. Every time they play that song live, I always get emotional. I actually start tearing up in the audience. And, you know, it happened when I seen Miles live for his acoustic set. You know, they played, or he played, I should say. He was a one-man band that night. He played some tracks that are Alter Bridge songs, and he played them acoustic. And, you know, they're more of a ballad-like song, and he played them on acoustic, and it was a very intimate atmosphere, man. It was just very emotional, and I can't wait to see him and tell him how important that song has meant to me and the fact that I dedicated it to my grandpa. He's probably heard this so many times, but they just seem like the most down-to-earth guys. They look and feel like the most genuine guys that you could possibly ever meet. So I can't wait to see that. And we have a new album by Killswitch Engage. If you guys don't know Killswitch Engage, they are a heavy metal act, you know, with death metal, thrash metal influences, and the whole story about Killswitch. This particular album is Jesse Leach, the lead singer, went through an emotional split after 18 years with his wife, and he's actually just gotten back to being healthy. His voice, there was a period in the band's career where they got Howard Jones to sing, and if you guys know Howard Jones, when he was with Killswitch Engage, they actually did CM Punk's original WWE theme song before he got, you know, Living Color. And with Jesse being out of the band, he was going through a very difficult health issue because I believe he had developed blood clots in his throat, and he couldn't sing anymore. And the fact that he's back with the band and he sounds better than ever, they actually got Howard Jones on one of the tracks called Signal Fire. It's standard Kill Switch Engage if you guys know what they are, but man, the melody and the emotion in that song, and just by watching the music video, you see the emotion pouring out from both of them. It's unbelievable. And there's actually a track on that called The Crownless King with Chuck Billy from Testament. Great shit. It sounds exactly like, the opening riff sounds exactly like something Testament would write. And Chuck Billy, man, Chuck Billy is fucking phenomenal at what he does. He sounds great on this track, which is getting me excited about Testament because they're having a new album come out this year as well. So just those little things. Go check that stuff out if you have not. Alter Bridge, Take the Crown, and then we have Killswitch Engage with their new album Atonement. And listen to the track Signal Fire. Unbelievable track. So there you guys go. Just a little non-wrestling information for you guys here on the podcast. And then that amazing red match with Ospreay. I can't wait to see it. So look forward to that in the coming weeks. Let's start off with this story, man. WWE is considering more NXT takeovers. And this is happening apparently, hopefully not, after the USA Network move. Now, takeover events have been, which, if you've been living in a cave somewhere, or under a rock, or if you're some fucking pencil-neck geek who doesn't like takeover for whatever reason, takeovers have been legitimately the best thing that WWE has done since its inception. Takeover events have been a fan favorite, starting from Arrival and NXT, now on the USA Network. If they find success in the USA Network, it could open WWE up to the idea of adding more takeovers. And WrestleVotes revealed this during an afternoon tweet on Friday, that it's a real possibility in 2020. The big question is, where will they fit this additional takeover in? They say, and I quote directly from their Twitter, "A source states adding a 6th takeover event is a real possibility in 2020, all dependent on how the USA Network numbers look. The current takeover schedule is January during Royal Rumble, WrestleMania weekend, clearly during WrestleMania, June, which I believe normally, not this year because WWE had to rearrange things for the Saudis, June is Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank is now one of the big 5. So WWE has done a takeover event to kind of go with that weekend. Money in the Bank weekend in June. So I'm assuming by this, Money in the Bank is moving back to June and not in May, like it was this year. August during Summer Scam weekend. And November during the Survivor Series weekend, which has been and will be for the foreseeable future as a War Games NXT takeover. Now, finding a slot, they say, for a 6th show is a bit difficult. Takeover events are typically held on Saturday nights. They, like I said, go in correlation with all of WWE's major pay-per-view weekends. And I don't think this is a good idea whatsoever. I really don't. Because on top of that, you got to keep in mind there's going to be at least 3 NXT TakeOver UKs. And I honestly think with the amount of takeovers that we have right now, from a 5 to a 6... that little increase is too much. Because at that point, on top of what we're getting with the 2 hours of NXT on the USA Network, you're bumping it up from 1 to 2 hours. Now you want to give us another takeover? I don't think it's necessary. The current landscape of NXT right now has everyone doubting if it's going to remain the same. Don't fuck with the takeovers. Where takeover is not, NXT UK is going to fill in those blank spaces. NXT UK and their takeovers are going to fill in the void. So there's going to be an NXT TakeOver UK in between January and Mania. There's going to be an NXT TakeOver in between June and August. There's going to be an NXT TakeOver from August till the end of the year with the UK. Why do you need to add another takeover? You're going to be takeovered out at that point. What's next? Are we going to start moving takeovers from 2.5 hours to fucking 4 hours? Are we going to take the regular format of 5 matches and bump it up to 8? Because now you have a 2-hour weekly show? Don't mess with the formula. This company is run by a bunch of blithering idiots. I'm going to tell you something real quick about what we did in House of Glory. I am now, and fortunately a part of, a team of great minds in House of Glory. Brian XL, Big Hodge, our camera guy, Dean. You know, he's also part of the production team. David, who's also part of the production team, and myself. You know, we sit down and we go back and forth via text, and we go back and forth, whether we're at the school or if we meet up somewhere to grab a few drinks and just shoot the shit about what we're doing next for the next show. We all sat down and we all came to the realization that it's quality over quantity. We had the show with the Young Bucks. We had 6 matches in total. We started at 8. We went live on Fight TV. We were done before 11 o'clock. That is absolute perfection. Crowd is not too tired. Crowd is going to remain really hot all night, especially in a building with barely any air conditioner. You don't want to be sitting there for 4.5 fucking hours watching 9 matches, some of which don't really matter to anything. You need to go about doing everything on a show and have everything on that show matter to what you're building towards. Why are you going to waste something like that, or a match, or just a bunch of guys on a card, and not have it mean anything? You want to start booking in meaningful ways. We went from the 8-9 matches that we were doing at these House of Glory shows to, for the first time ever, 6, quality over quantity. We were out by 10:45. Probably even less than that. And you know what? It ended up being our best show ever. From flow to what was booked to what was happening as far as major storylines, how we set everything up to kind of go into the next show. Everything in that concise 6-match format, less than 3 hours. It made everything so easy. It's an idea of being not convoluted. NXT has done it right every single time. Why would you ever mess with the formula when you have everyone in the same boat as far as the direction of NXT? I've said it time and time again that NXT and what they do needs to be on the main roster. The ideas that we see in NXT, from the quality over quantity aspect especially, needs to be seen on the main roster. WWE has it in their minds, and I don't know where they get it from, more than likely Vince McMahon. Quantity over quality is their way of life. 3 hours of Raw, possibly 3 hours of SmackDown going to the Fox network. You know? Then we got USA Network now with 2 hours of NXT. WWE overkill. 7 hours of WrestleMania. You don't know how many people were so pleased and thankful that SummerSlam ended before 10:30. You don't need these shows to be 5 hours. No one wants to be sitting there for 5 hours. Quality over quantity. We don't need a 6th takeover. I don't want a 6th takeover. Yes, I would not mind watching another takeover, but there's no room for another takeover. It's not needed. I'm not jumping out of my seat saying, yes, another takeover, please. Like I'm ordering another fucking beer at the bar. No! You know when you're done. You know when you reached your limits. WWE doesn't know when they reach their limit. Okay? WWE wants a 6th beverage, and then they want to drive home drunk. We're not the Usos here, okay? This is NXT, where things get done right. Don't fuck with the formula. Please. It's not necessary. This is clearly a Vince McMahon idea. Why would Triple H... Triple H hasn't added a 6th takeover since its inception. Now you want to start talking about a 6th takeover? Why? You know what? We need more of that little vanilla midget Johnny Gargano. We need more Tommaso Ciampa. We need more Adam Cole, baby. We need more of the who? You think we need more Velveteen Dream? No, we need more Man, this production truck is looking mighty empty. I need to come on in here and hang some wooden frames. And I need to have a nice plate of red oak sitting next to me, man. Please, I can't envision this fucking goon ruining my show. Please. No more. I'm done. I hope this WrestleVotes thing is completely wrong. You talk about oversaturation? WWE speaks and shits and eats and breathes oversaturation. You don't need it. This is coming from someone who has not missed an NXT show, period. Don't! It's not needed. Moving on, man. Speaking of NXT, everything's NXT. How you guys enjoy NXT, I don't know. Maybe you hate NXT. I don't have no fucking idea. But everywhere you look, WWE, NXT, it's NXT week. And WWE wanted it that way because they needed to counter AEW. I'm interested on how AEW is going to counter NXT now. Edge and Christian had their podcast this week, and Edge shared his views on WWE's direction to move NXT to the USA Network. He says this, and I quote, "I think that finally makes it feel to everyone like now it's a legitimate third brand. It's not this, are you going up to the main roster? Because we've talked about that. I've never liked that." He says to Christian, "You never liked that. To me, it's a lateral shift, but now it really solidifies that idea." What will be interesting is a lot of these talents that are used, they're used to tape shows. Live is a different way. They go from an hour to 2 hours, and to me, one of the things that I loved about NXT is that it was an hour. See? What did I just get done saying? He continues, because you couldn't. If you got ADD, you'll be able to focus through that hour. Probably. You know what I'm saying? And it's just enough time to not overexpose anything, but to expose enough. And that, to me, is kind of the biggest question mark. Edge then goes on to suggest that the main roster stars like Cesaro and Apollo Crews, who right now are in the void of irrelevance and nothing, he used the term spinning their wheels. They just keep going round and round. They're not part of the machine or in nothing important or special. Could now make a move to NXT and revitalize their careers. Yes, I don't mind that. But by doing that, you're taking spots away from everybody else working so diligently and hard to get to TV, coming out of the PC, and you're pretty much telling them, well, you gotta wait even longer. Some of you guys we might not trust at all, and we're gonna fill your spot, your potential spot and opportunity with a Cesaro and an Apollo Crews who are now solidified as main roster talents. It's not really a good idea, And with all the rumors in the last couple of months where WWE is trying to calm everybody down and saying, the time is right, the opportunities will come, some of those guys might feel like if you're filling their position and they're working so hard to get those positions with main roster guys and it's just not working out, they might find a different place to work. AEW. Sorry, man, I'm still sick. And they might go and find opportunities elsewhere. You don't really want to fill. I don't mind an appearance here and there, or if you take one at a time and build a major storyline around them, or something cool where they can culminate something at a takeover. I'm fine. You can't be pulling Cesaro. You can't be pulling Apollo Crews. You can't be pulling the War Raiders, even though they should have never left NXT. The Ascension. Zack Ryder and Mojo Rawley and all these guys who had some home in NXT. You can't pull them at the same time and say, all right, here's guys that we're not using because it's not right to those people wanting to work their way to finally get their first opportunity. And, which is probably the biggest thing of all, if you start taking all these main roster guys from the main roster and putting them back down on NXT, and they get used in such a way that it blows everything that they've done on the main roster out of the water. What does that say about the main roster's way of life? What does that say about Vince and his team? That they're incapable, that they're incompetent of running a show and creating stuff for these guys, that all it took was for them to go down and be handled by Triple H and his team, and now they look better than ever before. They look better than they ever did on the main roster. How do you think Vince McMahon's going to feel about that? You think Vince is going to want that? Does Vince ever want to feel incompetent? Does Vince ever want to feel like a failure? So, you got to be careful about what you're doing. You got to be careful about what you're doing here. Edge goes on to say that these guys are spinning their wheels, and he says this, and I quote, "What I hope is that there is talent that are spinning their wheels and they can do so much more. Like Apollo Crews, like a Cesaro, so many people. Let them go to NXT, man. Let them shine and let them do their thing. That, to me, is how you can fill up those 2 hours. That, to me, is how you can keep those guys, happy, and to teach the younger guys, okay, this is live TV. This is how it works. I think that is the key." Edge then finally ended talking about NXT's new 2 live-hour weekly format on Wednesday night to go head-to-head with AEW. He says this, and he's actually excited to see what AEW puts out. And in terms of AEW, he says, what's super exciting about that is we have no idea what it's going to even look like. Like, what's the format going to be? How are they going to do their promos? There's so many fun things to see as just a fan, and it's going to be exciting stuff, man. End quote. So there you go. There you go. They have to be very careful, man. I want to have faith in Triple H. I really do. And in fact, I do, in some sense of the word. What I don't have faith in is anybody questioning Vince McMahon's involvement. Like, I'm expecting him to be involved. I don't want to sit here and say that I don't mind. Like, I don't want Vince in it at all. And I don't. But it's coming. And if Vince is coming, how much influence is he going to have? If it's some, if he can give Triple H 98%, and Vince can give an idea here or there, or what he'd like to see different, or maybe tweak this, fine. Vince is not going to come in, and Vince shouldn't come in and give fucking Triple H 30 and he takes 70, because that's not the way this was set up to be. You specifically gave Triple H NXT, and with the announcements of Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff being executive directors, or I should say Paul Heyman, because Eric Bischoff, who the fuck knows what he's doing? You gave these guys their executive director roles on Monday Night Raw, and you specifically did not give one of those roles to Triple H. You gave Triple H NXT. He's not even running 205 Live anymore. That's being run by somebody else, Adam Pearce. Triple H is NXT only, on top of other office duties that he does, or PR things here and marketing things here, whatever. He is specifically running NXT. You would go against everything you did and said when you hired Heyman and Bischoff if you came in and fucked with Triple H's formula. You specifically didn't promote him to those roles, or to one of those roles, for a reason. This is that reason. Don't fuck with that reason. Simple. NXT is the best thing on WWE Weekly. Everybody knows this. Every single takeover, we praise what Triple H has done with the NXT brand. Don't change it. Don't fuck with the formula. Simple. I don't have any faith in Vince McMahon not getting involved. It's coming. It's coming. And everybody says it. Edge said it. Jericho said it. Fucking Meltzer said it. Everybody said it. You think him not being involved with a live show on the USA Network, you think he's going to sit at home? I don't know. Hopefully he does. But they got to be very careful about what they do. No 6th takeover. You're already at 2 hours. Stagnating main roster stars. There's positives to that, yes, but there's more negatives. Just like this entire move. There's more negatives than there is positives. How are you going to fill the 2 hours? Are we going to see more wrestling on that show? You know? Is it going to be like Raw and SmackDown? We don't know. We will find out on September 18th. I hope that everything remains the same. And I hope that everybody thrives and moves up the ladder to get to that next level. And I hope it remains with the true essence of why we fell in love with NXT. WWE partnered with Endeavor Audio to finally start up their own podcast network. Look at that, folks. You know what podcast is not going to be on the WWE Podcast Network? This one right here. This one right here. This is taken from WWE.com, and I quote, "As first reported by The Hollywood Reporter, WWE and Endeavor Audio, Endeavor's first entertainment studio, today announced plans to launch a new podcast network with several superstar-focused series. The move into the audio space marks a first for WWE and is Endeavor's latest foray into exploring new podcast formats. Storytelling is at WWE's core, and we are eager to add the audio genre to our portfolio." Yeah, WWE is about, what was it? I would say 5 years, 6 years too late. Probably even longer than that. Late to the podcast game. WWE is behind the 8 ball on so many different things. I'm not surprised by this move whatsoever. This should have been a move that was already done. They should have been doing this. Partnering with Endeavor Audio, an expert in podcasting, will enable us to provide our fans with unique content and reach new audiences across the platform. We're always looking to pair dynamic content with the best formats for listeners. Senior Vice President Moses Soyula said, "Through our new partnership with WWE, we're looking to focus and forward to tapping into their iconic event portfolio and talent base to create compelling audio content for their fans." End quote. Additional details, including launch time, content creative, will be announced in the coming weeks. Endeavor Audio is a full-service operation offering content development, financing, production, distribution, marketing, and monetization. The studio has produced Blackout, the hit audio drama with Academy Award-winning Rami Malek, who was apparently in, what the fuck was that game that I played on the channel? Until Dawn. He was in Until Dawn. He was one of the main characters in Until Dawn. And he was actually on some USA show too. Robots, I think. iRobot or some shit like that. The Bellas podcast, the popular weekly lifestyle podcast, is hosted by the Bella twins, obviously, Nikki and Brie. And Freak Nick, a podcast about Atlanta's infamous spring break, as part of a larger content partnership with Mass Appeal that also includes Drink Champs, the popular hip-hop podcast show, and the upcoming relaunch of One Ep, hosted by Peter Rosenberg and Cipha Sounds, or Cipha Sounds, C-I-P-H-A Sounds. So there you go, WWE a little late to the ball game with their podcast network, but I'm not surprised by this. Who else are they going to get involved with? Who are they going to bring on board? Mainly, everybody that has a WWE podcast. Seriously, like Jerry the King Lawler. You got, who else is there? Lillian Garcia. I'm sure they're all going to be a part of the WWE Podcast Network. They'll all be under the WWE umbrella. WWE is looking to get into every aspect of everything. And I don't blame them. It's smart. But they tried to buy Fight TV, which was debunked by Fight TV. You know, they are doing this, and it's just WWE all day, every single week. I'm not surprised by this whatsoever, but, you know, listen. You know, I'd like to be a part of the WWE Podcast Network, but with me being who I am and doing something like Off the Script where we are offering a real take on what is actually happening on these shows, storylines, characters, pay-per-views, reviews, Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, NXT, you know, just heavy opinion on their moves specifically. I don't see that ever happening, but, you know, who's to say WWE should be the end-all be-all? My goal is to get to Sirius. That's my goal. And without question, I know I'm going to get there. So it's just a matter of when and not if. But WWE, I'm not surprised by this move whatsoever. And like I mentioned, they're about 7-8 years behind the 8 ball on this podcast network. I told you, man, we're going to be all over the map here. I got some AEW news mixed in. This one for my boy, Golden Boy. AEW has reportedly signed eSports host and announcer Alex Golden Boy Mendez as an on-air talent. He tweeted earlier in the week a GIF of a contract being signed, but made no reference as to what he had signed on to do or who for. Being that I tweeted him congratulations, maybe it was something that got out of the bag before it should have. Fans will recognize Mendez from Fyter Fest. He did a fantastic job on commentary. I thought that was, out of all 3 shows so far, under the AEW banner, commentary-wise, that was the best show. I loved his energy, I loved his passion, and he knew the product very well. So I could always appreciate something like that. He was at Fyter Fest. He provided commentary alongside Jim Ross and Excalibur. This came as a result of the partnership between AEW and CEO Gaming, who helped put the event on. Golden Boy made his thing famous. He's got a brand in eSports. He does eSports commentary and also did commentary for The Rock's Titan games on NBC, man. Congratulations. I can't wait to see what he does as an on-air talent with Chris Van Vliet and everybody else signed on to be a part of AEW. It's an exciting time, and hopefully one of these years I'll be able to join them and get there soon. Vince McMahon and the XFL announced the teams and the logos for the new league starting up in February 2020. Vince McMahon's XFL has announced 8 franchises. I will not be watching, by the way, if you guys are asking, JD, are you going to review the XFL? No, I don't watch the NFL. So why would I watch the XFL? The only thing that I need to have happen is to Vince McMahon to just dive in head first in everything XFL, because that would take him away from WWE, and that's exactly what the product needs, less Vince McMahon. The announcement was made at a press conference on Wednesday, August 21st, but WWE Chairman and CEO Vince McMahon, who owns the XFL, did not appear. The 8 teams will be from the following cities, if you guys have not already known: New York, Dallas, Houston, Los Angeles, Seattle, St. Louis, Tampa Bay, and Washington, D.C. The league starts in 2020 on Saturday, February 8th. That's just 2 days after my birthday. And the games will air on ESPN, Fox, of course, ABC, and FS1. The team names are as follows. And they have a very WW-esque theme to a lot of them. They sound WWE heavy in name. The St. Louis Battlehawks, the Tampa Bay Vipers, the New York Guardians, Seattle Dragons, the Los Angeles Wildcats, the DC Defenders, the Houston Roughnecks, and the Dallas Renegades. Now, there is a report that the WWE will be distancing themselves from the XFL, or the XFL, I should say, is distancing themselves from the WWE, but clearly, as I just mentioned, these names have a very heavy WWE influence, including some of the logos, which I will not post here because I don't want to copyright. You guys can go Google that yourself. So there you go. So Vince McMahon, it was rumored that the reason why, I don't know if you guys read a report, Vince McMahon and Raw and SmackDown, he didn't have anything to do with any of these shows on Monday and Tuesday night. Now, clearly, he definitely had a say on what happened, but he wasn't there in Gorilla. It was Triple H and Paul Heyman on Monday, and I think it was Triple H and whomever on Tuesday. You know, I don't know who's running else on Tuesday, maybe Kevin Dunn, I don't know. But it was reported that he didn't appear because he was at this press conference, and now it's reported that the press conference did not include Vince McMahon. So I don't know what Vince McMahon was doing on Monday and Tuesday. Maybe he was getting ready for the XFL announcement that happened on Wednesday but didn't show face. I don't know. Nor do I care. I don't really give a shit because Monday Night Raw was not good. SmackDown Live wasn't good, so it was as if Vince McMahon was there, and it was reported that he really wasn't even there in Gorilla. So who gives a shit? So XFL coming February 8th, 2020. Those are the teams. Who are you rooting for? Me? I don't give a shit. I'll probably end up going with the Seattle Dragons because I think that's the coolest name out of all of them. So we'll see what happens. Speaking of AEW, man, going back to the AEW thing, Jonx Moxley suffers potential serious injury. I don't know where from, but I'm assuming it's stemming from his 30 days of a grueling G1 climax. Dave Meltzer reported it may be an infection that he got wrestling in Japan, as he took a lot of bumps on his elbow during a lot of his matches. It's an elbow injury, apparently. Meltzer says this, and I quote, Jonx Moxley has some kind of elbow injury. It may be an infection that he got in Japan. He worked shows this weekend for Northeast Wrestling, with the exception of the 8/16 show in Poughkeepsie. His singles matches were made tags. He pretty much insisted on doing his singles match with Pentagon Jr. Apparently, he unmasked Pentagon Jr. at one of these shows and was very careful to not bump on the elbow, end quote. He's been announced for 3 of AEW's opening 5 TNT shows in October, including the debut on October 2nd. There is no suggestion that he is at risk at missing any of these shows. There's no suggestion that he's missing All Out, but depending on the seriousness of this infection of the elbow, he may be out for the next couple of days. We got another week before we get to All Out. Hopefully he's all right. But knowing Jon Moxley and the fact that the match has been announced with Kenny Omega, now what seems to be about a month and a half, we all knew coming out of Double or Nothing. We knew that this was the match going back to May. Longer than that, month and a half. May. We're now in August. We knew that was going to be the match then. We didn't know how long Moxley's contract is with New Japan. He showed up in the G1 Climax. He was hot. And then he went on a losing streak. He lost to I think he might have lost to Jay White. I'm not really sure. I was following the standings. I know he lost another match against Juice Robinson, which will probably set up a third and final match between the two. His contract does end with New Japan on January 4th, so he's probably going to be at the Wrestle Kingdom show. He's still the IWGP United States Champion. I'm assuming that he lost to Juice Robinson in the tournament. He's probably going to end up fighting Juice Robinson again in a third and final match in the Tokyo Dome, where he will probably drop the title back to Juice Robinson. So that's just a prediction there on my end. But knowing Jon Moxley, nobody has said anything. Nobody's mentioned the injury outside of Dave Meltzer. I got it from him. AEW has not mentioned anything about Jon Moxley. They're probably keeping it very quiet. They're probably just letting him rest up. He's probably at home right now in Las Vegas, recuperating. Hopefully it's not too serious. If it was serious, I'm sure AEW would have said something by now. So hopefully right now, with the fact that we don't know much, it's not that serious. But if he is injured, I can see Jon Moxley not giving a fuck and going into the All Out show, wrestling Omega with one arm. That's the type of guy he is. But I'm praying that nothing is too serious, because he is going to be a vital part of their weekly television program, and I would hate for AEW to get off on the wrong foot going to TNT. So we'll find out. Hopefully it's not too serious. Jon Moxley probably is the hottest guy in all of wrestling right now. Probably more so after Saturday night in Chicago. I hope that it's nothing too serious, because AEW is going to need him more now than ever before. So if I find anything else out, I'll let you guys know right here on the podcast. Going to take a little break, guys. I want to go get a cold beverage. I'll hit the podcast back up in a little bit, but I'm going to leave you with a small 30-second clip of what I did this week in Brigantine, New Jersey, right off the shore in South Jersey. I was with Big Hodge. I was with Brian XL of House of Glory. I was with Charles Mason. We were on location filming for what is going to be a new era of House of Glory, and this is the start of that new era. I sat down with Charles Mason. I interviewed him. What you guys are about to see is the teaser trailer for Charles Mason, the House of Glory Suicidal Six-Way Champion. Well, I thought I was going to give you a trailer, but apparently I can't give you a trailer because there's copyrighted music in the trailer. So I found this out in the post-edit, and I found this out after I uploaded it to YouTube, and I had no idea. So now I had to go back and film this to tell you that there is no trailer. And if you guys want to see the trailer, you guys can follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That's on Twitter and Instagram. I got major news on The Undertaker. Yes, The Undertaker. He will be back on WWE television. I understand some of you might not care for The Undertaker. I am one of those people that just right now doesn't care about The Undertaker being back on television. The only reason why The Undertaker was brought back for Extreme Rules was because one of two reasons. One, he wanted to make up for that terrible match with Goldberg. And WWE did not want another Stomping Grounds incident where they only had like 5,000 or so in attendance for that show. So they booked The Undertaker in a match that really didn't make any sense. I guess it kind of did, being that he had ties with Roman Reigns and Shane McMahon. But it was merely done to put The Undertaker's name in the spotlight, get him on the advertised card so people come on out and see The Undertaker wrestle in a tag team match with Roman Reigns. They didn't want another Stomping Grounds incident. This is fact. Now, the WWE is hyping up the return of The Undertaker again, but not for a specific pay-per-view. Maybe. Maybe this is all leading to another pay-per-view showcase for The Undertaker. But WWE is advertising The Undertaker for MSG during the Raw and SmackDown tapings in September, when WWE returns to New York City on September 10th. The September 10th episode of SmackDown is not only noteworthy for the fact that it's the first TV taping WWE has held inside Madison Square Garden in several years, but it's also the go-home episode before Clash of Champions. Many people speculate that Vince McMahon has only brought The Undertaker back because of low ticket sales. That could be a very good reason for this one as well, because I heard, I don't know where they sit right now, but that show at MSG for Raw and SmackDown, especially SmackDown, is not selling well whatsoever. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, WWE always planned on having The Undertaker return on this episode. Yeah, sure, Dave. Sure thing, bro. His comeback allegedly has nothing to do with the fact that the company are struggling to shift tickets. Again, sure thing, Dave. Why don't you give me a couple of more ums? I enjoy listening to Meltzer and Alvarez, but this is ridiculous. With this in mind, it certainly seems as if WWE having The Undertaker appear for a specific reason is definitely aiming towards the low ticket sales. Now, it could set up a future match. I doubt it sets anything up at Clash of Champions. But what if? I'm going to go out on a limb here, folks. You could refer back to this if any of this comes true, or if any of this comes to fruition. I hope it does not, for our sanities alone. What if WWE brings back The Undertaker, and they hype The Undertaker returning, and he comes back? It doesn't set up anything at Clash of Champions. It doesn't set anything up in October for Hell in a Cell. Ooh. Because it's got the name Hell, the word Hell in it. It's got to take place in October. Hell, Halloween, blah, blah, blah. If it doesn't set anything up for Clash or Hell in a Cell, it's definitely setting something up for Saudi Arabia. And being that The Undertaker is only coming back for these WrestleMania-esque events, and the fact that his payday is probably $1.5 million for basically doing nothing, I think the toughest thing for these guys is to get on a plane and actually stay on a plane for about 16, 17 hours and fly into Saudi Arabia. 1.5 mil, 2 mil for a 10-minute match. What if it sets up his next match in Saudi Arabia? With all the rumors of WWE, it was going crazy on the rumor mill. With Edge coming back at SummerSlam and spearing Elias. Then I read that Edge is going for stem cell research, or he's looking into stem cell procedures for his neck, right? Ryback just recently was in the news that he got stem cell treatment and his back is 100%. What if WWE is frantically trying to get Sting back into wrestling shape? What if they're desperately trying to get Sting cleared so that we see The Undertaker and Sting face off in Saudi Arabia at the Crown Jewel event? Crown Jewel 2. You know? What if we see The Undertaker advertised for Madison? He's already advertised. What if we see The Undertaker show up inside a WWE ring inside Madison Square Garden? Would it be out of the realm of possibility to see Sting just fucking descend from the rafters? Or come walking out with the music playing and the baseball bat and the face paint and the fucking crow music playing? Is it out of that? Is it so much of a ridiculous notion to think? I don't think so. That's certainly the stage for it. You know? And if WWE, on September 10th, leading into that show, they want to fucking tease you, and they know AEW is going to TNT, it makes perfect sense to do something like that. I mean, who's not going to want to watch the build-up for an Undertaker-Sting match? I don't give a shit about the match. I don't want to see the match. The match should have happened back in 2012 with the vignettes of the cabin. Remember that? There's no way anyone can convince me that that wasn't for Sting. That was always for The Undertaker. Bullshit. That would have been that was made specifically for Sting. That was perfect. The trench coat, the rain, the cabin. That would have been brilliant. That's when that match should have happened. Now, in 2019, you're talking about something that should have happened 7-8 years ago. No, I don't give a shit. I don't really give a shit. The Undertaker looked great in a tag team match with Roman Reigns. We haven't seen Sting since Night of Champions in his match against Seth Rollins, where 2 buckle bombs ended his career. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Do I think that it would be a much better match than Goldberg and The Undertaker? Yes, absolutely. Just the stare down alone is worth watching. But the match itself, I'm not interested in it anymore. Go play WWE 2K20 when it comes out in the middle of October. There you can have your Sting and Undertaker in whatever fucking venue you want. You want to recreate WrestleMania? Go right ahead. There's not going to be any limitations. There's not going to be any neck injuries. There's not going to be any 60-year-old fucking legends trying to desperately wheelchair their way around in a wrestling match for 15 minutes. I don't really give a shit. But that is my prediction for The Undertaker showing up at Madison Square Garden. Other than that, what does he have to do? Now, don't let me find out that The Undertaker's being specifically brought back as a legend, and then he gets attacked by Bray Wyatt, and we get The Undertaker versus The Fiend at Hell in a Cell. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see that match, period. We've already seen it in a different format. I don't want to see it again. What is Bray Wyatt, what is The Fiend going to accomplish by beating the fucking Undertaker? Beating the Undertaker isn't special anymore, man. It really isn't. You know, it might be visually appealing, but as far as the match goes, I don't really give a shit. Don't let me find out that that's the reason why they're bringing The Undertaker, and The Undertaker's going to be attacked just like Kurt Angle was, and Jerry Lawler was, and Mick Foley was. That would be pretty lame. And that's not really going to drive ratings to Monday Night Raw either. So, I think I'm sticking with my Sting notion. I would not be surprised if it was reported that WWE is desperately trying to get Sting back into ring shape and desperately trying to get him cleared for a match with The Undertaker. What we desperately need to have happen is Vince McMahon step away from the WWE. Well, according to reports, reportedly, Vince McMahon is set to step away from the WWE if the Fox and NXT deal on USA Network remains steady. Now, reports are going around this week that Vince McMahon is dealing with a lot of XFL stuff, which is in the news, and that Vince McMahon has plans to step back from the WWE for a short time, depending on how well the company's transition into the new TV deals actually go. Now, it's being reported that Vince McMahon wasn't at Raw on Monday and wasn't at SmackDown on Tuesday because Vince McMahon was within his NFL circle, and he'll step away from WWE for a short period of time, depending on how the Fox and NXT moves actually go. If all 3 shows are steady, the report says by the time the XFL launches, he will indeed focus on the league specifically and leave WWE in charge of doing whatever they got to do with whomever in charge. I don't know at this point. Now, I don't believe this at all. Vince McMahon did say in a conference call in front of shareholders that the reason why he hired Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff as executive directors is that he won't be in the weeds too much. Yeah, sure. Yeah, Vince McMahon may have his weeds cut, but he's going to be the one behind the fucking lawnmower. Don't give me this bullshit, Vince McMahon stepping away. I have, if I can find a picture, I have a better shot at Tony Storm cooking me dinner in this than we have Vince McMahon stepping away from the WWE. And wouldn't you want her in your kitchen every day, 7 days a week, cooking you whatever you want, man? Honey, what do you want? You want a cold beverage? What can I get you? What would you like for dinner? Would you like some extra Parmesan cheese on top of that? I'm sorry, guys. I got a little blinded there. I'm sorry. I lost my my train of thought. Gotta get back to doing business here, man. Vince McMahon's not going anywhere. Didn't he hold a interview with ESPN several years ago? I believe this was during WrestleMania 25. So this is definitely more than 10 years ago. He was on ESPN and he left. Someone asked, I don't know who was conducting the interview. Someone asked him a question. Will we ever see Vince McMahon step away from the WWE? Yeah, will that day ever come? And he laughs. That's not in my plans. I'm not going to die ever. I'm going to live forever. You think this is a joke? Vince McMahon is not of this world. Vince McMahon is not a human being. Vince McMahon is obviously a fucking member of Satan's army. If not, he's the right-hand fucking lieutenant of Lucifer's army. This guy's not going anywhere. He sold his soul to the devil. He ain't gonna die. I think we have a better shot of dying ourselves than seeing Vince McMahon fucking die and giving up the WWE. And even if he does die, I guarantee you could get Zach Bagans to fucking ghost hunt Titan Tower. You could get Zach Bagans into fucking Stamford, Connecticut, or Greenwich, Connecticut, or whatever. You could sit down at 3 a.m. and conduct a ghost seance, and you can ask Vince McMahon, who would you like us to put in the main event of WrestleMania? I guarantee you he will be giving you his fucking plans for WrestleMania through a fucking voice box, and you'll hear him coming through the dimensions, giving you exactly what he wants for WWE TV. He will be booking WWE TV until he is fucking in the grave, and then after the grave, you'll hear his fucking disembodied voice booking WWE TV. You think I'm joking? You think I'm joking? It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Vince McMahon ain't going nowhere. Step away from the WWE. Oh my goodness, man. You gotta be fucking kidding me. King of the Ring. Let's move on with this shit, man. Not too much more. I do want to save some stuff for tomorrow, if I have anything at all. WWE's King of the Ring tournament. I'm excited it's back. We still don't know what the king is going to get outside of a silly crown and a little rod. Maybe a throne to sit on, but maybe for 5 minutes. What are they going to take? What are they going to take the fucking throne home? Put it in their man cave? WWE's current pick for King of the Ring. Now, this was reported, I believe, this week. WWE brought back the King of the Ring tournament this year for Clash of Champions, which is, nice little touch. I get the correlation there. Bringing back the King of the Ring. It's an important finals. You're going to crown someone at the Clash of the Champions pay-per-view. I like it. I would prefer it in a pay-per-view format where the tournament takes place in one night. I would like that WWE would have maybe announced what the King gets, number one contendership. Like, what are they fighting for? Are they fighting for simply the crown? Is the crown going to be defended next year? Is the King of the Ring tournament winner going to be in next year's tournament? Are you even going to do a tournament next year? I'd like to see it yearly. So this year's event, we will see a new king crowned. And WWE right now has plans for Drew McIntyre to be the current King of the Ring for 2019. Report says, as of Monday, WWE has plans for Drew McIntyre to be crowned the King of the Ring. Now, you never know, because Vince could wake up on fucking the morning before the finals and just want somebody else to be King of the Ring. He could wake up and say, I want Baron Corbin. I want King Corbin to be crowned King of the Ring on Sunday at Clash of Champions. Or he could say, fuck everybody on the active roster. He wants to give the crown to his son Shane. Because I never gave him anything as a small boy, but I'm going to give him the King of the Ring. I never got him that bike when he asked me on his 9th birthday. I'm going to give him the crown. I'm going to give him the King of the Ring in WWE. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I don't even want to think about it. It's out there. I put it out there already several times. I'm not going to do it again. Even though I just did. Kind of. King of the Ring. I'm going with Drew anyway. My bracket's all fucked up because Kevin Owens got eliminated. And Samoa Joe and Cesaro actually had a decent match. And Samoa Joe surprisingly advanced to the next round. So my brackets are all fucked up. Not that it really matters anyway because I didn't put any money on it. But I'm going with Drew McIntyre. He was my original choice to win it all anyway. But if I had another choice outside that, you guys know, I would go with Andrade. And I would go with Zelina. King Andrade and Queen Zelina. Sounds pretty damn awesome to me, if I was to say so. Moving on here, guys. I will get into the rest of this stuff next week. But I think I might have mentioned Aleister Black at the top of the hour here. I'll talk about that tomorrow. It's not that big of a deal. I want to talk about Bray Wyatt before we get out of here. There were reports this week, and Bray Wyatt actually himself came on social media and debunked all of these false reports. Told Sportskeeda, I believe, or it might have been the Sportster, I don't know who it was. Get some new journalists, he said, or something along those lines. There were reports of Bray Wyatt and The Fiend being toned down on WWE television to appease the shareholders or appease the sponsors, and that The Fiend wouldn't really look good on Fox, on mainstream TV, or USA Network, that it's too scary, and that it's really nightmarish. These lame reasons, these fucking bullshit reasons as to why we should not have something like Bray Wyatt on TV, yet you're okay with going to a fucking movie theater and spending $20 on a fucking movie and then another $15 on a bucket of fucking popcorn, you fucking slob. But you're okay with going to see the fucking It, too. You're okay to go see fucking Chucky reinvented. You're okay to go see fucking Michael Myers slash this and slash that in Halloween, though, right? Give me a fucking break. Gotta be out of your fucking mind if you think Bray Wyatt is scary. Go grab a fucking tissue and buy stocking Kleenex, you fucking pussy. Scary. Now, I understand that it might not be everybody's cup of tea. You might not like it at all. You might think it's cheesy. The parents might think, oh, well, I can't let my kids watch this. I don't want to scare my kids into a fucking oblivion. You know, they're 4 years old. Who the fuck knows what's gonna happen when he sees Bray Wyatt come out on WWE TV wearing the whole fucking Fiend getup. I don't want to be up all night consoling him. I want to get some fucking sleep myself. I understand. But that is up to the parent. You know for a fact what Bray Wyatt looks like. You know what the Fiend looks like. Then don't allow your kids to watch. You know, they give you a heads up. It's not like he just pops up out of nowhere. The lights go out. All right, son, time for bed. You want some ice cream? I got some fucking chocolate sprinkles. Let's go to the kitchen. You know, put the TV on mute. Don't worry about it. They give you a heads up. Parents should know about what's going on. Then you got the other people. Oh, Bray Wyatt is mocking Catholicism. Bray Wyatt is mocking the church. Like some fucking old hag sitting in church, right? She's sitting in the pew praying. Oh my God, WWE, they're mocking God. This is what we got to hear. Mocking God. WWE mocks God every single week. Look at Aleister Black. His gimmick is based off Aleister Crowley, a known Satanist. Look at The Undertaker. Look at Kane. Those characters have satanic overtones all over them. Hell, the devil's favorite demon? The dead man? I mean, I don't understand you people. Finn Balor, the Demon King? Give me a break. Bray Wyatt is no better than any one of them. He's no scarier than any other. What did you think when Kane came out wearing the fucking mask and having the voice box? Did you fucking take your children away from the TV then, too? What happened when you seen Finn Balor for the first time and he's fucking slithering like a snake and he's doing all these body motions and he's fucking in the ring with the get-up and the dreads and the smoke? Did you pull your children away from that too? I don't understand you people. Now, it was reported by Sportskeeda. Bray Wyatt actually threw Sportskeeda under the bus. He was tweeting that they should get new journalists because this report was bullshit. The story here was shared all over social media about the Fiend being toned down. And eventually, Bray Wyatt himself, stop spreading this propaganda and fire your informants, he said. Now, we seen the Fiend at SummerSlam. He attacked Jerry Lawler, and he attacked Mick Foley, he attacked Kurt Angle. Who's next? I don't know. There was no suggestion after the Jerry Lawler attack that the Fiend was being toned down. He looked like the same Fiend to me. They did the same shtick. Now, the reports of Bray Wyatt's Fiend being toned down, it might not be, I guess, sponsor-friendly. Why would you ever fuck with the gimmick? Why would you ever take Bray Wyatt's creativity away to where he can't create? You gotta work behind a fucking a wall. You know, he's already got a wall in front of him. You can't do that. You gotta work your way around it. That's not really giving someone the platform to express their creative freedom. This guy's one of the more creative guys you have on the roster, and you're gonna limit to what he can do? You're gonna limit anything that the guy wants to do as far as the character goes? Then people are like, oh, well, I want to see Bray Wyatt on television. These are the same people that are probably in agreement of a 6th takeover, that want another added hour to Monday Night Raw. Yeah, let's make Monday Night Raw 5 hours every fucking week. These are the same people that want a 3rd hour on SmackDown Live and a 2nd hour of NXT. These people are simple-minded fucking cretins. They don't know anything. They don't know anything. Oh, why isn't Bray Wyatt on TV following SummerSlam, Ryan Satin says. Fuck Ryan Satin. He's part of the problem. Overexposure. Go stalk some more porn stars at fucking Whole Foods, you fucking goon. Bray Wyatt. How do you tone down Bray Wyatt? Here's a fucking suggestion. Don't feature the Fiend on television. Okay? Bray Wyatt has another character called Bray Wyatt. He operates out of the Firefly Funhouse. Why do we need to see the Fiend on fucking television? Operate out of the Firefly Funhouse. Seriously. That's how you should be presenting the Bray Wyatt character. Raw, SmackDown, you want him on TV? Have him show up as Mr. fucking Rogers. On pay-per-view or a special event, the Fiend. That's it. That is the way you tone down Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt on basic television, the Fiend on pay-per-view, where it's not in front of everybody's eyes that's going to bitch and moan about the mainstream media. Ridiculous, man. Nothing stays true to what its true potential is. There's always a fucking issue. Someone's got a problem here, someone's got a problem there. Blow me. I enjoy it. Let's not fuck with the good thing. I'm getting out of here, guys. Thank you so very much. If you enjoyed this podcast, I know I did. I'm feeling a lot better, man, as if you can't tell already. I feel good. My voice is good. We're back to being JD here on the podcast, man. Thank you guys so very much. If you enjoyed it, please hit that thumbs up. Follow me on social media. You guys can get all that information down in the description. Make sure you follow me on social media at JDFromNY206. That's on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button as well while you're down there. And turn on the bell for all notifications. If you missed anything, everything you need is linked in the comment section, man. You got Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, and Off the Script Extra about the NXT move to USA Network. Everything you need is linked down in the comment. It'll be pinned at the very top. Harrys.com/script if you guys want to get your $13 value trial set. And more importantly, man, hit that thumbs up. It helps the channel out greatly. It gets the podcast in front of more eyes, and it gets recommended more. And I can't stress that enough, man. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. And I will see you back here. Hopefully, I ran through most of my notes here. I didn't want to go 2 hours. Because I don't want to be sitting here all day, man. I want to go have a cold beverage and a fucking Bavarian pretzel. So, make sure you guys are hitting that thumbs up. And I will probably be back tomorrow. Don't know what the top story is going to be, but we'll figure it out. And I'll see you guys right back here on part 2 of Off the Script, man. Thank you guys so very, very much for joining me, and I'll see you right back here on Saturday afternoon.